What's up, everybody? How's it going? I hope everyone's year is going well thus far. I am actually currently caught under a winter weather advisory here in Alabama, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to put out another video. Today I wanted to dive back into music a little bit because there are so many musicians out there that are so incredibly underrated or even altogether unknown. A lot of people completely miss or pass by so many talented artists, especially when it comes to goth music. But I enjoy opportunities to be able to introduce people to new music, so today I'm going to be presenting what I have deemed to be 10 goth bands that don't receive nearly enough recognition. And I'm going to begin with an artist that I thoroughly enjoy called Saporis and the Ensemble of Shadows. Definitely a mouthful, I know. Saporis is a one-person neoclassical darkwave project consisting of a non-binary musician known only as Anna Varney. The only way that I can really describe her particular style of music is to have you think of the music that should be used as the main score for essentially every gothic vampire film known to humankind. Or perhaps every Tim Burton film. There's a lot of classical instruments that are being introduced while containing a lot of synth. Some songs have bells. But overall, it's so haunting and perfect for any lover of goth music. Up next, we've got She Passed Away. Now, I will admit that this band is probably recognizable by longtime members of the goth community, but if you're more new, then they may have slipped by you once or twice. She Passed Away is a post-punk project that was formed in 2006 in Brasov, Turkey. And they are comparable to many other modern post-punk bands, but their sound is exceptionally darker in my opinion. They do implement a lot of dark wave into their music as well, but if you've never heard of them, they're definitely worth a listen. Now at number 3, we've got Nosferatu. Nosferatu is an English goth rock band that was extremely popular throughout the 90s. Their first album, Rise, is probably the most recognizable, but I really enjoyed their last release, which is called Wonderland. Rise definitely had much more of a raw sound, where Wonderland had much more of a developed goth sound. But either way, fantastic albums. I would definitely recommend checking out both of them. They've also been affiliated or worked with members of The Damned and Sex Gang Children as well. But they have that early drab sound that was becoming very prominent in the early 90s when goth rock was becoming a lot more popular. Up next is Ashcode. Ashcode is an Italian darkwave band that mixes elements of post-punk and EDM. Now, they've only released 4 albums, but if I had to recommend one to start off with, it would be Posthuman. That is such an incredible album. It also has my favorite song by them on it as well, entitled Night Rite. Now, their first album, Oblivion, had a little bit more of a synth-pop vibe, but when they released Posthuman, it definitely gravitated more toward post-punk. Now at number 5, we've got Molchat Doma. I saw these guys live for like a split second at Sick New World in Vegas in 2023, and they are so underrated. Molchat Doma is a Belarusian post-punk band that formed in 2017. So they really haven't been around that long, and they have such a classic goth sound. Very drab, bass-driven, very low, almost monotone vocals. If you're a fan of goth music in any form, there is no reason that you shouldn't have these guys on a playlist. And keeping up with the post-punk darkwave theme, now we've got Twin Tribes. Now, I will say that these guys are getting a little bit more recognizable at this point, but for a while, they were relatively unheard of, and in my opinion, still fairly underrated. Twin Tribes is a darkwave duo with elements of post-punk from Brownsville, Texas. Their music has been compared to really popular post-punk and synth-pop bands from the 80s, namely The Cure and Depeche Mode. I gotta say though, I really enjoy their latest release entitled Pendulum the best. If you haven't already, add the songs Monolith and Cauldron of Thorns to your playlist. You've got to give those a listen. Now at number 7, we're at French Police. French Police is a Chicago-based post-punk project that is very comparable to many other bands on this list. Most notably Twin Tribes, I'd say, or maybe even an older band called Cockatoo Twins. Their album Haunted Castle is probably my favorite by them. You definitely need to check out the song Vampiro. Their music is definitely dark, but I wouldn't exactly describe most of it as drab. In fact, some of it has a little bit more of an upbeat vibe, sort of like synth pop. But if you're getting into the goth scene and you haven't heard of them, you definitely need to add them to your list. And coming up next, we've got Switchblade Symphony. This is one of my favorite goth bands that has a female vocalist. Tina Root has such an incredible voice. It's almost ethereal. Switchblade Symphony was a goth industrial rock band that was prominent throughout the late 90s. Their first album, entitled Serpentine Gallery, is regarded by critics to be a very important album for the progression of goth music. That album also happens to have most of my favorite songs by them on it, like Wallflower, Clown, Sweet. If you haven't heard of them, definitely give them a listen, man. They are worth it. And now we've got Dead Can Dance. Dead Can Dance are a neoclassical darkwave project that first originated in Melbourne, Australia, but eventually relocated to London. The only way that I can really describe their particular style of music is to have you picture dark ambient sounding music combined with ethereal pagan music. They are so beyond unique, and surprisingly, I don't know of many people that have actually heard of them, which is insane to me because they're so iconic. But overall, I'll definitely say that they do not receive nearly enough recognition in my opinion, so that's exactly why I added them. And last but not least, we've got Lebanon Hanover. Lebanon Hanover is a Swiss-English darkwave duo from Sutherland, England. Their music has also been defined as cold wave, and for anybody that's unfamiliar with that term, cold wave is essentially a synonym and form of what became dark wave. It could be argued that there are a few distinct differences, but we don't have time to get into all that today. But I do find that very interesting because their music is very comparable to early 80s goth music. They do have quite a few songs that are slowly but surely starting to gain recognition, but for the longest time they were very underground as well. Their songs are super fun. A lot of them are really cliche and cheesy, but you can't help but love them. Like Kiss Me Until My Lips Fall Off or maybe Gallow Dance. Make sure to add those to your playlist as well, because those were definitely fantastic choices. I feel like I'm going to be making a second underrated musicians video sometime down the road because I still feel like there's quite a few of them that I felt should have made this list. But for now, I hope this was really helpful in directing you to some new music. I know I personally always appreciate finding new songs and bands, so I hope y'all enjoy. Thank you all so much for checking out today's video. If you found it helpful, make sure to go hit that like button and go subscribe to my channel to stay updated on future content. Also, feel free to give me some feedback in the comments section and let me know what you thought of the list and if you enjoyed any of the recommendations. As always, guys, stay safe, stay spooky. Peace!